The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Welcome to Old Space Show. I'm Brandon, and this is my companion, Stephen Schapansky.
Hi there.
This series of Old Space Show follows the intergalactic swashbuckling escape antics of Roach Blake and his ruffian crew in the first season of Blake's 7. Today we're discussing the 10th episode, Breakdown.
In this episode, the implant in Gan's brain was designed to limit aggressive impulses, but when it malfunctions, he is in urgent need of neurosurgery. But will the doctors at Space Research Station XK72 aid a wanted criminal?
All right, this one is directed again by Veer Lorimer. He returns, written by Terror Bear Nation, and starring Gareth Thomas, Sally Nivette, Paul Darrow, Jan Chappell, Michael Keating, David Jackson, Peter Tuddenham, Julian Glover, Ian Thompson, and Christian Roberts. So yeah, Julian Glover making his rounds here.
Oh, man, Blake 7. Sometimes Blake 7 hits home runs, and sometimes when given an opportunity, it completely fumbles them. And this episode, as we, to just jump ahead a little bit, waits until there's 19 minutes left to bring in
32 minutes in.
One of the great actors in British television in the 70s and 80s. And you think, oh my God, that's Julian Glover. Where has he been for the first 2/3 of this episode?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was stunned by that. And he's not, I'm sure there was an advertisement, but I don't think he's like in the credits till like the end, right? So he would be a surprise if you had no idea.
I guess. Who knows what they were promoting at the time when it comes to Julian Glover. It's like I don't know what Julian. He was in a lot. We were just talking about BritBox before we came on online here, and I noticed that like he's in a few of these costume dramas from the late 70s, early 80s. So like he was an entity even when he was in Doctor Who in 1965 in the Crusade, and certainly by the time of City of Death, which is kind of close to around where this is in time. He was, quite a get for a guest star. And I'm thinking of all the different guest star spots you could have for someone like Julian Glover in this season, if not the whole show. You put him as a doctor in an episode, and he's only in it for like less than half the episode. It felt like a bit of a waste to me.
Yeah, he kills it with the time he's given, but yeah, it was really. I have to wonder. They're like, okay, Julian's schedule opened up for a day. Do you want him?
I don't know, because this is an oddly structured episode. In that there's Gan. All of a sudden it looks like he's having some issues here. He's getting a bit of a headache, and sort of and then he starts acting erratically, and there's this crazy fight scene that happens with like handheld cameras, and like for a split second you can see the studio lighting rig.
Yep.
And then like the whole first half of the episode, if not more, just sort of like rotates around Gan flexing his hands on and off in the medical bay that's on film, and what people are going to do about it. And it's and then in the latter third of the episode, they finally go to this this station, and it feels like that entire 30 minutes probably could have been like a pre-credit scene in any other show, but they spend more than half the time dealing with that. I don't know. What did you think about the pacing of this story?
Well, I didn't remember this episode for good reason. Probably I guess I didn't remember Julian I remember Julian Glover maybe being on here, but like this particulars of this episode, I did not. And when I was writing up, I go through the cast list first and stuff. Oh yeah, Julian Glover's on here, and then it was like, does he have a voiceover at the end or something? Like what? And I first I'm watching it, and I was convinced this is they're doing a bottle episode, saving some money. Nobody's gonna leave the Liberator. And then I'm like, wait, no, they gotta do something. Julian Glover comes in this episode, and that 32 minutes of this could have been a 5-minute prologue before they get there. And I did credit that they found a way to give Gan, make him a focal point, and perfectly utilize him at the same time.
How can we use him yet not have him do anything? I know.
Exactly.
We'll have him comatose for the most part and sort of flex his hands as if he's I don't know. That's just hyperactive because of his limiter chip malfunctioning.
Yeah. He goes into this rage. But yeah, it was really bizarre that Julian Glover. I mean, I'm sure there are maybe big name British television actors that have popped up on things like this that were probably big and wasted in their time that I just don't realize. But it's Julian Glover. I mean, even like you said, right here, he's somebody. I mean, granted, he's about to go on his run in Empire Strikes Back, For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
And then Indiana Jones: Last Crusade, just being this like great. I mean, talk about a guy who can nail both a television and film presence, which is not easy to do. Mm-hmm. Just because sometimes TV people get into movies and you're like, I feel like I'm watching TV. He nails both. He knows his medium. He knows his audience. But yeah, just it's so bizarre that he shows up here late, is in a room with just a couple people, and it's over before you realize it.
Yeah, I know. But the second you see him, you perk up. Julian Glover,
we're getting somewhere now. Like that's and he matches wits with people, with the idea of what's going on, because they're in a neutral base. That's kind of the focus too. They're very proudly neutral, but he is sort of against Blake. I believe Blake tried to convince him they're sort of maybe Federation, but he doesn't really say one or the other because I think Blake knows they're neutral. Mm-hmm. But he's a guy that just can't take neutral anymore and kind of screws up this whole thing. I mean, the Liberator crew gets what they want out of it, but his character is the one of contention. Yeah.
And like they also sort of go through some weird whirlpool in space.
Oh yes,
sort of,
the red whirlpool.
The red whirlpool, just to put a bit of danger in, which the only thing I can think of that's actually adds to the story is that it's for some reason suddenly gives Avon a reason to say, once we're through this, Blake, I'm finished. I'm out. I'm like, this is the one thing? Like, it feels like, is this the straw that broke the camel's back? Or is this just like, Avon reacts to a random happenstance of trying to save their crew member. Mm-hmm. And this is the one that's going to turn Avon. And so he instantly goes to the space station to sort of like try and arrange like I'm abandoning the Liberator and everything, and sort of tries to set that plot in motion. And it lasts for like 7 minutes once Avon realizes that it's a trap. And it's kind of a bit of a runaround. He doesn't really want to leave the Liberator. They just sort of crafted this in to give it a bit of intrigue as to give him a reason to go over there. But he never really does. You never really feel like his heart is into it. Mm-hmm. There's a few things like that. The whirlpool, the Avon's sudden conversion and then conversion back are just sort of like kind of add to the running time of this episode, I feel.
Yeah, a lot of padding. And you had Julian Glover the whole time. Like, maybe. I don't know. But, it's just stuff going on. Like, there's a whirlpool, there's something with Gan, but it's not, there's no through line till we get to Julian Glover, and then it's okay, it's a very good 19 minutes from then.
Yeah,
decently. Or maybe I'm just a hostage situation. I've been stuck on this liberator with this plot that's like, what's going on? And then it's like, I'll take anything without not the liberator crew right now. Okay, cool. We got something else.
I don't remember which episode it was. It might have been episode 9. And with the episodes with Servalan and or Travis, where you basically you can sort of bounce between storylines a little bit when you're sort of getting the ball rolling a little bit. I find that's helpful because if you're stuck entirely on the liberator, it's I find the pace doesn't quite need to be where it is to sort of get the ball rolling on an episode. Next week's works in a different way, which we'll get to. But, the fact that we have to basically go sequentially, like, here's what's happening here. Like, there's not enough happening on the Liberator for 2 separate storylines to be happening on the ship at the same time. It's always what's happening to Gan. We're fighting Gan. Now he's over there. And basically, if they're going to cut away to something, it's just 2 characters going, what's happening to Gan, and then cutting back to what's happening to Gan, and it's like there's no momentum at all. Whereas I don't think you could have, however, structured it to introduce the station XK72 early, because there's no reason for them to be in that story until they arrive there with Gan in need of help. So maybe there's, this is a story just to sort of address the fact that Gan has a limiter in his head, and they maybe have to like sort of fix that a little bit. But to take a whole 50-minute story to do it feels a little off.
Very excessive. Bloated on. What would you say? Bloated on one side, and then the other half is not enough, or too
kind of rushed. Yeah. It's there's that the one underling that sort of comes across and immediately is an HR problem with Jenna, just completely.
Yep.
Lately hits on her because apparently we have to have that, and that kind of goes nowhere. It just like there's no payoff to that at all. It's just like he's a weird creep to Jenna, and you think that he's going to like confront him. It just sort of
not in a Lando Calrissian "What have we here" way. It is
no.
Oh yeah. He's like, oh god, what's going on, guys? Woo. Yeah. There's some hopping between the 2 ship or the station, and because Julian Glover does come over at one point.
He does.
And then,
to do the operation, and then he sort of like once he realizes who they are, he's sort of like, not going to operate until the Federation gets here, and I'm going to sell them out, and that's what it. I love watching Julian Glover do anything. I just love the way he sort of like nonchalantly puts his feet up and just sort of like just sitting there. Yep, nope, not doing it at all.
No. I do like you talking about the Avon. Crisis of should I stay or should I go with it. They did have there's a line like early on, and where he's like talking to Villa, he's like, why do you stay with Blake? And he goes, and Villa's like, I like him. And he goes, that isn't a good enough reason.
So that's true. I suppose they do lay a little,
but that could have been in any given episode.
Yeah,
with Avon. So it's kind of interesting that they would try to do that. You feel like they could have picked a better episode to pull that with Avon.
Yeah, and you know what? The direction doesn't really lend it any credence either, because the confrontation like happens in like a long shot. There's people like walking by, and like Avon's like, by the way, Blake, just so you know, before you go out of the room, this is it for me. I feel like they could have zoomed in, cut to a tighter shot for those 2 talking about that if it really meant something. But like watching it, it's thinking, come on, even I don't believe you on this one, Haven.
Yeah. Well, you also got where they're talking about he had the 1-2 where it's like staying with you requires a degree of stupidity which I am no longer capable, and Blake's like, now you're just being modest.
Is that Chris Boucher again? Is Chris Boucher
he's
touching up the script a little bit? I feel like it might have been. Yeah,
he is snappy. Like it's funny, the second watch through the show, I'm much more appreciating a lot of this dialogue than I did the first time around. Maybe because I'm paying more attention to it, but I'm like, man, this show's really got some good lines here and there that are not probably properly accredited to the person who wrote them.
No, No, I definitely sense Chris Boucher's hand in it. And honestly, as much as I enjoy Blake 7, it is those lines that really keep me coming back to watch a so time ago. Usually it's Avon. Usually Avon is the vehicle for these lines, because he's the most sardonic of anyone on that ship. And Villa maybe a close second, but I feel like those two are the best line delivery vectors.
Yeah, well, and Paul Darrow really helped it too. He's good at that, because they try to give some to like Jenna once in a while, and they don't fall right sometimes.
It doesn't feel right coming for her, does it? Even though like she's probably got the sketchiest background out of any of them, because she's a pirate and all that. But
oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah,
yeah. But Avon, I guess, is a white collar criminal, so maybe that's why he has the intelligent sardonic wit. But
I did write down the line about the cat collar guy. He says, "Hello, this place is full of pretty girls."
Some good old late 1970s sexism. It's great.
Sorry, guys. That's my Uncle Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows up. They do. But it's not Rainer. It's the Kane guy. He knows that who the Liberator crew is, because he's like, they lie badly. I have that one. It's like that was good.
Because he's seen them like on TV or something like that, so he knows who they are.
They're lying liars. That's what they do. Lie. There's I do have more. I write down these lines because I get there's are you defending their behavior? I can't defend ours.
Good one. Yeah.
Is there any way I could thank you? You could try getting caught. I think that's.
Oh yeah, that would made Blake smile, which is kind of nice, actually. Yeah,
and
nice understanding between them too. Back to Glover's character again. Yes. It feels like about he's so precious about his hands and stuff, about how he's the best doctor ever in the whole universe. And I do like the threat that you need me, Blake, and stuff like that. That's right. If you if you don't complete this operation in 20 minutes, I shall destroy both your hands. So that that threat kind of hits home for him. He doesn't seem like he's that much of a violent person, but then at the very end of the episode, he teleports back, and all of a sudden I can't remember his name, but he instantly becomes on a murderous rampage.
Yes, yeah. Damn your neutrality!
You touched my hands, and he picks up a weapon and just beats him to death with it. And then his last shot is him staring at his hands, thinking, I am supposed to save life with these, not take them, is what he's sort of thinking probably in the script before the Federation missiles lock on and destroy the whole station. But I just thought it was a little too sudden of a turning poor Julian Glover into a homicidal maniac at the end.
Oh, yeah. He goes nutso right away. I mean, he doesn't live much longer after that, but because there's like a bolt that gets shot out and misses the Liberator, just blows up the station, leaving more dead bodies in Blake's wake. Like that's. I mean, if they
and then they all have a laugh at the end, and they just hope you're back. And by the way, welcome back.
And what did I miss? Oh, well, Gan.
The whole episode, Gan. The whole episode's about you, and you missed it.
You mean Julian Glover? The Julian Glover operated on me?
Yes, he did.
Well, they're like, he's like, oh, they get it out? No, but we trust the psycho doctor fixed it.
Yeah. So, not a lot was solved by the end of all that.
Oh, it's a very, I guess there's the through line that Gan has been having problems up to this, but I mean, aside from you have to watch because Julian Glover's here, he plays a mad surgeon, he goes nuts at the end, but this is just a stop off on the journey that doesn't really add up to a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's I'm not sure why when Gan's limiter fails, he has the impulse to do whatever the rest of his crew doesn't want to do. Like, oh, we need to keep this cable stable to get through the red whirlpool. And so he goes on this rage and like throws everyone across the room and I have to detach this cable. Like he doesn't even know what it's for. But it's like a zombie. Oh, crush, kill, destroy.
I am a contrarian.
Yeah, it's the oddest side effects happen when your limiter chip starts malfunctioning.
Well, there's the age-old, oh, Callie, can you just loosen these? I'm not comfortable. Like, well.
And Callie, the telepath, is just like, sure, why not? I mean, it's Gan. Look at him.
I mean, I could read your thoughts, but you know what?
He tried to strangle literally all of us, but I'll let him go. He looks like he's earned himself a cookie.
I don't get how it's uncomfortable. Those things are not like tight against him. I mean, he's got a good couple feet over.
Like just sit up. Like I just need to sit up. Can I just sit up? Like, do you really need to sit up? I think we're pretty happy lying down. Gullible Callie.
Yeah, so we're gonna wait till we find a surgeon in this galaxy to fix your head. Yeah, one of the neutral ones, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they go over a couple planets before they're like, you know what? There's a space station here, and they're neutral. This guy should be all right. He's not, but
no.
It takes him 32 minutes to get there. I think it was 32 on the dot, honestly, when you first see Julian Glover, because I was like, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. Yeah, and I knew that he was going to turn up at one of these episodes, and I was getting close thinking, wait a minute, is this the one? Is this the one where he's barely? Oh, it is too. Yeah.
It's crazy. I did credit, I thought the model work was pretty okay in this one.
Right.
Compared to what I was like, you know what, there's some impressive shots, and it was passable. I was like,
not bad. Yep. I also want to credit the designer of this. I don't know how many episodes he did as I frantically check the wiki page. He only did this one episode. Peter Brahatsky, who does his only Blake 7 episode, he is famous for only designing one episode of Doctor Who, that being the pilot episode, which of course is remade as the very first episode. So Peter Brahatsky designed the iconic TARDIS interior in that first story. So his legacy goes on after having just been on the show for barely a few weeks, and this is his only Blake 7 episode too. So I don't think there is as iconic a set design in this episode that carries on through the ages like the TARDIS, but it was interesting to see his name pop
more
up.
Crossover, more just. I did like you taught the set design, and then there's the costume design. I liked, didn't go overboard. It felt. Like the surgeon outfits, you could have gone crazy, but they, you know what, they were tangible. They looked okay. I was like, all right, that works. They look like functional surgical outfits with a little twist on them. I was like, all right,
to make them a little bit spacey.
Just a little spacey, just a bit, just a hair. So, yeah, but I think that's all I got for this one.
Yeah, probably me too.
Just pacing and not enough Julian Glover, or not getting to Julian Glover. He could have spent the same amount of screen time, but spread it, figure something out. This was a unbalanced script that, breakdown. Okay, Steven. So set a course again for Earth before we give it to the Federation, but before we head out, share with people your information.
I am on Twitter at Legopolis, and also I do Doctor Who podcasts called Radio Free Scarrow, Lazy Doctor Who, and The Memory Cheats.
All right, hashtag I think I can. All right, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon4KUHD, written work on WhySoBlue.com. There is more from the Brandon Peters Show going on, working on some things. I don't know when I'm releasing things. I'm recording this ahead of things, so just keep listening. Monday episodes, there's always something there, and there's always something here, Old Space Show Wednesday. So maybe just tune into Old Space Show next Wednesday as Steven and I talk Bounty. But until then, from Old Space...
If it takes all my life, I will destroy you, Blake. I will destroy you. I will destroy you.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.